Welcome to Confirmation Bias, presented by the League Ambassadors.
I'm Ambassador Kenny Ken, and there will be a 1 seed going down in the first round of this year's NBA playoffs. That's my confirmation bias.
I'm Ambassador Junior Blue, and as a Laker fan, I've never rooted for a Celtic. But after the death of Isaiah Thomas's sister, I was on Sunday. And that's my confirmation bias.
I'm Ambassador Dad, and John Wall is the best player on the planet. Well, at least he was on Sunday. But then again, Kawhi was last night. But that's my confirmation bias.
I'm Sleepy O. And the Clippers' LA pass has been revoked. Get your punk asses up to Seattle. We don't want you here anymore. And I will never root for the Boston Celtics or any of their players. That's my confirmation bias.
Welcome to Confirmation Bias, hosted by the League Ambassadors. Omar, wake up, please.
I am. I'm here, baby.
As a reminder, please check us out across the board on all social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, on our handle at The League AM. Also check out our website, theleagueam.com, where you can check out all our content, especially our diplomatic community page, where viewers and watchers can go ahead and post anything sports related that might end up on our site. For those of you watching on Facebook Live, please remember to comment and ask questions so we can answer them at the end of this evening's show. And please download Confirmation Bias anywhere you can subscribe to a podcast, subscribe to it, iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and then also subscribe to our YouTube channel under the League Ambassadors. We got a great show tonight, so let's get right into it. Let's talk about the hot topics. All right.
Wake up, Rena!
I'm not the only sleepy one. Shit's contagious.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right, so we starting like that. So this past weekend, the NBA playoffs opened up as we previewed on last week's show. And so far, the League Ambassadors have been spot on with what's going on. I know it's very early. We're still early in some series, but we look pretty good right now. So let's start off what we have with so far. So we have the Bucks beating the Raptors in Game 1. Omar called it. We got the Wizards playing well. I said that they would get into the conference finals. It's early, but they look really good. Utah beating the Clippers. Omar called it. We said the Bulls might take it to 7 or get in the series. But
They gonna do more than that.
right now it's looking mighty different. So what I wanted to start with, we have some other series that are going, but I want to start with these because we felt very strongly about these. Are our theories going to stand pat? And what stood out to you guys over the weekend of these first 1 or 2 games of these series?
The Greek Freak.
That's it.
What else do you got? I mean, if you didn't watch the game,
No.
Jesus, that man can play.
Yeah, he struggled a little bit tonight, but overall, their athleticism was really, really apparent and obvious.
Right. Thon Maker.
He came back down to earth tonight, though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, and
game one, though.
as to be expected. But yeah, I mean, they're just John Hammond, the GM for the Milwaukee Bucks, sir. Kudos to you. You have put together a monster. They're a little young, and as we saw tonight, playoff basketball is about valuing possessions. And even in the game on Saturday, which they dominated, you could see, like, it felt like they were playing a regular season game, which I think works in Jason Kidd's benefit to getting them out, just, not thinking about the pressure of the playoffs. But Toronto's in for a long series.
I agree. I mean, he didn't have a good game tonight. Actually played pretty bad, but the potential rookie of the year, Brogdon balled out and outplayed Lowry. And we mentioned how they could slump because he's not in rhythm and he didn't have a good game. He had a big shot tonight.
Well, look at it like this, though. I mean, Milwaukee played almost a perfect game on Saturday. They had 5-6 turnovers. I mean, if they can have 5 turnovers and keep Kyle Lowry to 4 points, they'll win the series.
Well, tonight they didn't.
Tonight they couldn't do that.
They couldn't do that.
They had
but
4 turnovers in the first quarter.
But they already went there and accomplished what they wanted to accomplish, which is still a game.
Which is what you're saying if you're Jason Kidd. That's exactly what you're telling me.
Because they could have got blown out because they were down, 12 when we got to the studio, and they made it a one-possession game.
And something that we talked about on Saturday, Milwaukee, and I know a lot of people probably don't remember this because it's been a while since it's been a playoff game, a meaningful game in Milwaukee. But
2 S's and 2 L's.
Those people are going to be crunk.
They are going to be off.
They are going to be crunk.
Man.
And it's a series. It's definitely a series.
Has it been that long, like since Cassell and Allen?
I want to say, yeah.
I can't remember
Cassell,
them.
Michael Redd, Ray Allen. Is that the last time?
Michael Redd was a little after Cassell and them.
I feel like they were in the playoffs a few years ago, though, with the Fear of the Deer.
Maybe that.
I think Fear of the Deer was
really. Was that Ray Allen?
That's what I'm saying.
That sound like Ray Lewis with the deer antler. I don't know about that, but
you know about that, don't you?
Hey, where's shout out to Colin, Kenyon's old roommate. Where you at?
Hook me up with the antler.
Yeah, I tried it. It didn't work.
That's funny.
Antler in Beijing.
Yeah. Oh God. So we talked about them. The most impressive thing I saw this weekend is John Wall. Man, I have not seen someone dominate a basketball game like that in a long time. And it wasn't just that he had 32 points, 14 assists, because people have had higher stats, but the way that he controlled the flow of the game. He's a ball-dominant guard.
Right.
He shared the ball. He was making plays for everybody. Everyone was better that night.
He definitely went into the phone booth at halftime. And he was on his maestro move in the second half. The other thing I was impressed with in that game was Washington punked Atlanta. Specifically,
talk about it.
Paul Millsap,
MMA,
and physical play, and it looked like Atlanta. They weren't expecting that. They weren't ready for that.
Zero fight back.
Yeah.
That was some bitch shit. At least talk tough after the game. He was like, "No, let's not do that again. Get the fuck out of here."
It was the wrong sport.
The Polish hammer.
Yeah. Gortat.
When he yammed on him and then pushed him a la Shaq versus Dudley.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to do the Harlem Shakedown.
Well, it actually started with Markieff Morris.
That wasn't the only time.
Yep. Markieff Morris, it started with him, but I like that physical edge that they played with. I think it could serve them well. Devin's got them going, to the conference finals. Having that sort of physical edge, if they get anything from their bench.
Their bench is going to be the death of them.
Yeah, I have my doubts there, and I think that, but having this physical element, it serves them well.
Not getting Lou Williams will hurt them in the long run.
And I don't understand Scott Brooks subbing out all 5 starters though. That makes no sense when you shorten your bench in the playoffs.
Yeah. Well, he's been shortening his bench all year.
Shorten your bench, but at some point when you're trying to get like legit rest, you got to do the rec league shit.
You don't play every night though.
You sure don't.
Yeah, you don't play every night.
It's the first, but it's the first round. It was a home game.
His first game with them.
It's his first game with them, and I'm pretty sure
they weren't playing that well in the first half.
Right, and I'm pretty sure that he went into the playoffs feeling a little insecure about his bench. So, I'm going to give him a pass, let him try out a couple of things. But Brandon Jennings, Bogdanovich, Jason Smith, those guys are definitely going to have to step up because you don't want to go to a 6-man rotation in round 1. That's not going to bode well for a long playoff run.
So what about the Clippers?
Waving bye-bye.
Omar was very emphatic about his confirmation bias today. And, we talked about it on last week's show. We kind of agreed that could be a hiccup, but Joe Johnson, homie, what?
Man.
It's wavy, baby.
It's wavy. And actually, it's not even Utah 1-0. It's Joe Johnson 1-0 versus the Clippers.
Yeah, he came with it. I mean, again, experience, and it's not like the Clippers don't have experience.
But wait a second, what's his name out?
Yes.
I know he's out.
Gobert?
Yeah, Gobert's out.
Yeah,
For how long?
He's
For the whole series?
I think he's probably going to miss the series.
Shit.
They
I
might
think
not need him.
Forgot about that.
It's just
He
weird.
went down in the first 20 seconds of the game.
This is a must.
difference. This is the difference between them standing up for the rest of the game and doing it for the whole series. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, yeah.
That mean because they are a much better team with him. He's one of the best centers in the league. So it's like without him there, that's a problem.
Yeah, but I mean, Derek Favors stepped up. Listen, they are deeper than the Clippers. They play better defense than the Clippers. I think we all assume the Clippers should win because they do have the headline players. But there's just, and I've been saying this for years. There's weird juju around them. And it's not the, and I'm not saying the typical Clippers like Kurtz. There's chemistry issues, and
This is it.
I think so.
I read an article about Griffith.
Cue to Michael Jackson.
Griffith
Yeah,
talking about how having kids has made him a bitch.
Who?
Blake.
the ginger.
Well, he didn't say those words. That's what I read. It smelled me out, bitch. Like he comes how he approaches the game. He's not so emotional, and it's just like that's why you was banging on fools. Yeah. You need to get back to that emotion.
He cares.
Them knee injuries.
Yes, that too. So I'm sorry.
No, I'll say the one other thing is, and I know Omar is going to really appreciate this. Quinn Snyder is going to coach circles around Doc Rivers.
I've been saying it since day one. Doc Rivers is not a good coach. Never has.
And y'all know I've been screaming he's the most overrated coach in the NBA.
And you definitely might have a point there. Yeah. Well, when he won, he had great assistant head coaches. But we'll move on because we got a couple other series to talk about. So something that we just watched, Bulls Celtics. We mentioned that it might go deep.
You heard my confirmation.
It might not go.
It's a wrap.
They thought it was the one way.
It's going that way
But it's that other way.
Hey,
Yeah.
so somebody might be alive. I mean, he did get old. He missed that dunk.
He missed the dunk. So I mean, is there anything to that? I mean, do we think that this has to do with experience, or is this the emotional aspect of it?
I think that's part of it.
I think experience is definitely part of it.
I think the playoffs is a different game too.
Yep. And there are three things I think that you need to have working on all cylinders in order to play well in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And that's rebounding, that's offensive execution, taking care of the ball, and you've got to be able to stand up defensively, if not be a good defensive team. And right now, Chicago is killing them in two of those things. They are murdering them on the glass, and offensively, they are executing. Rajon Rondo, it's a new season.
Yeah,
and Rajon Rondo is the coach, and he's got him humming.
And they're punking him. I mean, let's not forget Mr. Houston on the jump ball buck at Bradley. Like, I forgot where I was for 2 seconds. I'm about to spaz out.
Jimmy Butler, that was at the big game one. I mean, it was the one reason why I thought Chicago could be interesting at the beginning of the season when they, and it was a last minute situation getting Wade and then getting Rondo, but those veterans,
they're
stepping up in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So a question I wanted to ask Omar.
Why you want to ask me?
You'll see.
No.
Are the Rockets going to sweep OKC?
He walked right into that one.
No.
You don't think so?
No, OKC will win one game.
One game?
Yes.
It was like night and day.
Billy Donovan has an Enes Kanter problem on defense.
He told everybody.
And he told everyone that. He let the whole world know. Twitter picked it up.
Can't do it. Just can't do it.
And
Can't win with him.
And it's a problem because they need
offense.
They need his offense. They need his offense and his rebounding because that was the thing that surprised me. Oklahoma City is the number one team in rebounding during the regular season, and Houston beat them again. Rebounding, offensive execution, defense. They killed them on the glass, which was a surprise. Kanter is a big part of that. But if Kanter can't figure out the pick and roll, when you can't figure out the Patrick Beverly pick and roll, not even James Harden, but Patrick Beverly pick and roll, he said, I literally said, I can't play Enes Kanter. That's a problem.
And didn't deny it either.
Everybody saw it.
Yeah, but he could have tried to give a different context. He was like, can't play him in that
Everybody
situation.
knew what he meant.
Well, we saw it last year against the Spurs of San Antonio. Like, he just struggles with figuring out the pick and roll. But again, that goes back to that issue. All season, you had one assignment, Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
And that was to be on the same page defensively because you had the offensive hog that was going to carry you. And they're
just not.
Yeah.
So from one jacket up to another, we have Golden State versus Portland. We didn't really think that was going to go far, but as much as they were balling, it's a detriment to them. The two guards were just yanking it. I mean, did y'all see that going any 4 or 5?
I don't see how they can keep it close without them shooting.
No, but it's just too much. I mean, they're just literally standing around watching.
I mean, I fucks with Neil O'Shea. That's the GM?
Yes,
right?
That's the GM from
But
the Clippers.
he should have never bought in Turner. They gave Turner a gang of money, right?
Well, they gave a lot of people. They gave Turner a gang of money. They gave
Allen
Alec
Crabbe
Crabbe a gang of money.
Yeah, they missed on that.
Neil O'Shea, yes. So John Hammond, Eastern Conference, Neil O'Shea, Western Conference, because this trade, the trade that they made for Nurkic, and that's who they missed.
That's what's hurting. Yeah,
That's what's hurting them.
Yeah.
And so the two guys got to put up the shots.
Right.
They're missing Nurkic because if Draymond Green, let me tell you something, if you're playing this year's Golden State Warriors and if Draymond Green is the best player on the floor, you have no shot at beating them. And it's a funny thing to say, but a small team in Golden State is bigger than Portland.
Yeah.
They miss Nurkic.
They play differently. That's why. In the last series we want to talk about, because we don't need to mention the Spurs and the Grizzlies. That's a wrap.
Shout out to Tony Parker though.
No.
Shout out to Tony Parker though.
The coach though.
Oh, Fizdale from LA.
Yes, you're right. Did anybody find out how much the fine was going to be today?
It's north of 30. It's
30?
coming. Don't
Okay,
worry
it's
about
definitely
it.
coming.
Mr.
How's that for data?
Mr. Fizdale.
He went.
Hey,
He
Mr.
did.
Fizdale represented for Los Angeles.
Yes, he did.
Fremont High School.
Right.
Straight
They
up.
already put it up there with some of the great rants.
Yeah,
Dennis Green.
and really quickly before we move on to our next segment, the Pacers in Cleveland, they got to start Lance, and they need some.
They need to start Lance Stevenson and Miles Turner. Miles Turner, you are needed.
Soft yo.
Hey, Paul George has 0 fucks to give because he's calling out everybody.
He's coming home.
Hey, corrupt.
It's LA, baby.
It's corrupt.
It's
I'm
LA.
calling out names.
It's calling out LA. He's coming home. Come and see about us. But no, it's funny. Indiana has a chance. You gotta. Well, the problem. They have a chance thinking about Miles Turner, and if they start, as you said, Devin, they start Lance Stevenson. The real problem though is they don't have a clue defensively. They go from switching to staying.
Ethan Senior is lost.
Wait for it, Omar.
Jeff T.
looks like Omar's oldest son, verbatim. Yeah. We'll get his permission. Yeah, we're gonna get his permission to actually post the picture.
Once I got it, I was like, oh shit.
We're gonna put that side by side up on our Instagram so you can see it. Yeah, Teague's lost. Teague's lost. That's funny.
All right, on to Black versus Blue.
Funny. Sorry.
Hey, you stole my ball. That's all right.
All right, Hope versus Hype. The Yankees had an 8-game winning streak before they lost tonight to the White Sox. They got rid of all their high-priced older players, and this was supposed to kind of be rebuilding time. My question is this hope for them? Do they make the playoffs?
Fuck the Yankees. Straight up.
Well, now, why you say that?
Because he's an Orioles
I'm an
fan.
Orioles fan. No, I mean, it's always fuck the Yankees. It's like it's fuck Pittsburgh and it's fuck Duke. But it's way too early.
Okay.
It's 150 games left. I mean, we don't know. It's baseball.
It might be more than that.
Right. But, I mean, the Orioles started off 7-0 last year, and we got to the 1-game playoff. So I don't put any weight behind it yet. We got to see.
Now, if they won 20 in a row.
That's something.
Yeah.
But even though it's still 140 games,
right? But still, at that point, it's an average showing up. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
there's
something there.
Yeah.
I mean, getting Chapman back was big.
I think
that was the biggest hustle ever.
For real.
During the 8-game winning streak, they played the Cardinals and the Tampa Bay Rays, who are terrible. All those games were at home.
That's another thing.
That's another thing.
Road record.
And CC Sabathia, who has been on the downward trajectory, is actually pitching well.
Did he lose weight yet?
No, he didn't. But he's rediscovered something. But I don't know.
Steroids.
I don't know. I'm not.
Cyclones.
I'm not going there.
Human growth hormone.
But all I'm saying is that, you know, I doubt that he's going to be able to sustain it. But then more importantly, Michael Pineda, who during that streak had a perfect game through, you know, I think 7 innings. He has been the most inconsistent pitcher probably in Major League Baseball for at least the last. They've been waiting for him to show up forever. So, you know, with those, if you're depending on those two guys, and that's what's going well for them is their pitching.
They both got the same doctor.
Well, if that's the case, then maybe it's hope then. You add the fact that Gary Sanchez has been out, Didi Gregorius has been out.
You hope they pass their test.
That is the hope, because it's hype.
All right, hit or flop. Last week, there was a report that Beast Mode had signed to the Raiders.
You sound a little hurt over
No,
there.
I can hear him smiling.
This is the thing, though. This is the thing. I'm not exactly sold that it's a hit.
Really?
I'm not sold that.
Speak
Why?
on that.
Yeah, speak on that.
And it's a great name. He was a great player. Last time he was off a year.
Mm-hmm.
He'll be 32 next week.
Been eating Skittles.
And we know he's been eating a lot of Skittles.
He does look chunky. I will say that.
The last year he played, he only played 7 games.
Mm-hmm.
So now we talking 2 years off. A 32-year-old running back.
Are you raising your hand?
Yes,
for a
I'm
reason?
raising my hand.
Dad, hit or flop?
I'm saying it's a hit because when he played those 7 games, what line was he playing behind? And then now he's playing behind the second best line in the league.
Yeah, okay.
I mean,
What?
pat yourself on the back, brother.
No,
I mean,
this is the thing.
this is your time.
They say
Hey, why you got me doing your job?
Come on, man.
Our running game, our running blocking is not that great. Our run block is not that
Well,
great.
your pass blocking.
You had
Our
Kenyon
pass
at
blocking
running
is
back
great.
last year, though.
I mean, unless if Kenyon was 6'3", 260 pounds.
I think the thing is I think it's a win for situational football. I think it's a hit from a situational football perspective because now you have a guy that you know will be able to go and get the tough yards.
Yeah.
You talk about the fact that he's 32, right? He's not running away from anybody. That's
No.
not what they got him there for.
Yeah.
They got him there because he's going to take care of the football.
And they're not going to pass it on the 1 yard.
Exactly. Exactly.
You saw
Not
the
to
interview.
mention the off the field benefit. This is
about
a
to say,
win.
This is a big thing that Oakland is.
win
Yes,
for Oakland.
this is a win for the Oakland. Emphasis on Oakland Raiders.
Well, I had a question about that because I think that it could be positive. But I mean, he's done a good job of saving his money, doing stuff for the community. But being back home, is it a definite hit for that? Because
yeah.
there's
I
always
think
the whole.
that's
He is beloved.
He's
Yeah.
beloved,
Not
but he's still
in the
the
Bay.
most
Not
he
only
don't get
ignorant.
it, but he's
That's why he's beloved.
Yeah.
I know,
It's
but
the Bay.
I just worried about like
he's ignorant, but he's not a miscreant.
right. No, I get that,
So-
but there's sometimes you grow up and
I think it's gonna be. I think it's actually going to further go at Les's point. I think it's actually going to allow him to play inspired football, so that the stats say and his body says and his age says that he should be on the downward slope. But I think playing in Oakland, I think will invigorate him
It
in a
doesn't
way.
even matter. You got E40. Wait, no, I'm serious. You got E40, Andre Ward, and Marshawn Lynch.
Yeah.
Those are the guys who only got to pay for a thing in Oakland.
Yeah.
but that there's one big thing that we're missing here. They're not going to be in Oakland. Fairly.
No, the 2 years. This is a 2-year thing.
I don't even know. If
He ain't leaving the house.
Yeah,
he
this
gonna probably play this season, and that's it.
This is to get it out of his system and for Oakland to smooth the transition over. And I think it helps David Carr. It helps them in situational football. I think it's a hit.
Can you when he does a Lambo leap into the black hole? Come on, dog. It's gonna be crazy.
All
For all
right.
12 people that are still there.
Damn.
All right. Newsworthy or nothing to see. Eli Manning. This is something I didn't see much about.
Yikes!
So, Eli sent an email to
Running game.
to the equipment manager saying, "Hey, can you get me 2 helmets that look game worn?"
Huh.
Basically, so he could sell them as game worn memorabilia. Now he's in a lawsuit for fraud. So is this newsworthy or nothing? To see?
The Giants as well.
And the
I
Giants
believe.
as well.
are.
The
Why
Giants
was
as
he
well.
doing it?
He has obligations with some memorabilia company.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
I don't think it's. I think it's custom to do this, where it's like, hey, give me some stuff that looks game worn. The problem is they just got caught up.
Yeah, sending emails and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, to me, I can't make heads or tails of it right now. It's early. Those the emails look damning though.
You know, the reason why it's no longer newsworthy is because we voted for a president who admittedly grabbed vaginas.
I don't think
like
that's the word, but yes.
Well, no one cares. My point is, there's a point now where it's like, this is like, whatever, let him do it. They're going to pay some money. And
They're going to pay, right.
Yeah,
It's going to
like,
settle.
the
I
only-
think it's newsworthy for the standpoint of the Manning brand.
Right, yeah, they're the first family of the NFL.
And
then
you
they
just,
have
this is not what you would expect.
the integrity factor of it.
I mean, because, Fox News did try to destroy Al Jazeera after that story came out, but it's
whoa,
cool.
there is that.
Big head.
Big necks.
That's funny.
See, they keep looking at me.
Wake up, cuz.
I'm up. All right, it's time for Is You With It or Nah. So we got two new contestants. We got Mr. Jay-Z ain't loyal over here in the left corner, and then we got Mr. I'm gonna take a week off like Floyd take a year off. And whoa, see, I'm grumpy. It's cool though. All right, the topic is the NBA draft and their lottery process. Should it stay the same, or should they change it to discourage tanking? Because tanking is prevalent. Ask any LA Laker fan, ask any Phoenix fan, or as Philadelphia 76ers have coined the term, trust the process. I need a coin. I don't have a coin.
Look at that.
Ain't this about a...
Kenyon pick.
No, I got it. Just give me a second. I still got the quarter thing. There it is.
We need some Jeopardy music.
What you
ladies
want?
and gentlemen.
Who won it?
I want to know what the prize is. Heads. I want to know what the
heads.
prize is since I'm a
Alright.
contestant.
It's heads.
Heads.
It's heads. What do I get to choose? I want to go last. You
No,
get to
you...
choose.
You have to choose the top.
I have
you
to choose the top
position.
Oh, I think that they should change it.
So, who going first, Les?
Kenyon. I don't even know why that's the way it goes. Go.
Who got the timer?
I got the timer.
It's The Rock. Oh, sorry.
Ready? Go.
All right. Well, here's the deal, right? I think that they should change it because there is a more viable alternative out there. I don't ever believe in I don't believe in change for the sake of change, but what I would propose to discourage tanking specifically is you should make every team in the league, all 30 teams, have one lotto ball. So then that way, that eliminates the tanking. Now, some would say that the problem with that would be then you'd have a situation where, say, the Golden State Warriors could end up with the number one pick. And I think that dovetails perfectly with the culture that is presently in the NBA, which is building up the super teams. What it will then do is it will force general managers to have to make hard choices. Can you imagine if the Golden State Warriors had the number one pick this year and their choice is to either take Markelle Fultz or Lonzo Ball when they already have Steph Curry? How do you formulate your team? How do you build your team? And if you do decide to go with that choice and pick one of those point guards, you know for sure that in 2 or 3 years, either you're going to move on from Steph Curry or you're going to have to let your number one pick, Lonzo Ball, go. It would make the lottery experience much more exciting, which extends the length of the NBA season because of the fascination behind who's going to get that number one pick. It eliminates tanking. A lot of the arguments for wanting to keep things the same is that number one picks don't win championships, right? Getting the number one pick doesn't determine that you're going to get the the championship. However, there are number 2 picks, there are number 3 picks, there are number 4 picks that you can get by participating in the lottery process. So it's not just about focusing on the first pick. And I think if you don't do something, you run the risk, which we've talked about before, of alienating fans and putting out a bad product, and also creating a culture of losing on your team. Change is necessary.
Change is not necessary.
All right. So now we got Brother Les. I'm going to start you up. 3, 2, 1.
All right. There is no reason to change the draft because the more losses does not guarantee you the highest draft pick. There's only been 3 times in the last 20 years that the worst record in the NBA received the number 1 overall pick. And the 2 of them were in the last 2 years. We've discussed in the past how it's a combination of organizations, coaches, and players that build a winner in the NBA. Well, it seems the same teams are in the lottery every single year. Teams make ill-advised trades. For example, let's take the Lakers and Suns, where it was beneficial for the Lakers to lose just to keep their draft pick, not just to get a high draft pick. Now, let's take a look at what tanking really gets these NBA teams. In the last 10 years, there were 47 starters that came from the lottery. That's 34%. There was 18 all-stars. So out of 140 players picked. So what are you tanking for? That's 13% of players become all-stars. There's only been 7 players that have won an NBA championship that was picked in the lottery in the last 10 years. And that's because of Cleveland and Golden State. One of the players was actually not even drafted by the team that won the championship, and that was Kevin Love. He was drafted by Minnesota, won it in Cleveland. So the lottery doesn't have to change because losing doesn't equal a higher draft spot, and then choosing the right player is even harder, an even harder thing to do. So even look at this fact. 20% of all the players that's been drafted in the last 10 years, which is 140 players in the lottery, 20% of them aren't even in the NBA anymore. So it doesn't need to change. Organizations just need to get better because tanking doesn't guarantee you anything. Matter of fact, you have a better chance of a higher percentage of picking a bust than a player that'll win.
So, Devin was the timer. He's almost the host. And he's the motherfucking judge.
He's something like a gypsy.
Hey, man, I'm out here working, baby. I'm out here working. They need to turn the air on when this bitch is done. So, I really didn't have any heads or tails about this going into it, right?
It's 2 good arguments, though.
It's 2 very good arguments. I like what Kenyon said about expanding that, trying something different, because if Golden State gets the first pick, they can flip that. However, I think Les made some very good points about the sorry ass trades that have happened. The players that have come through those doors.
Bringing my Lakers into this,
and I think that kind of makes me lean towards Brother Les for winning this debate.
Ding, 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 ding. Kenyon's not happy.
hey, you had me. But he dropped some knowledge though that it really what it comes down to is the scouting in the NBA is fucking awful.
Yeah, but the problem is this though. The question was, how do you change the lottery to get rid of tanking? He didn't present anything to address tanking. He just talked about how the lottery as is should continue. Yeah. And I presented an actual solution, which...
He politicking for a win?
Yeah, that's what it sounds
That's
like.
straight up I am.
He put on the red power tie, had the American flag pin. Like, come on.
Okay. Hey, I'm sorry.
Hey, and you know what? And you know what, Devin? Hey, Slug agrees with me. Slug,
he didn't win the popular vote. He only won.
He won the electoral college.
Hey, we looking at diplomatic immunity. Slug, you know what's up.
Hey, the question was, should it stay the same or change to discourage tanking?
Right.
Yeah. And
there's nothing.
And I took that it should stay the same.
It's not but you talked about nothing about discouraging tanking.
He can't ever be wrong. Fighting this shit hard.
I did say Floyd Mayweather.
Right. So let's move on to diplomatic immunity before we get up out of here.
Yeah, we don't have that.
Well, I did see one thing, and I don't know. I need this confirmed. Is Kevin Durant missing this next game, and does that make a difference?
Is that oh, you know what? Okay. Remember, I said in the chat, I was like, because on the sidelines, it looked like he had like an air cast on, and they wrapped it up. So I guess that must be a real thing.
So do you guys think that makes a difference?
No, it doesn't.
Okay.
No.
But
what's wrong though? I do want to know. I did see that, but then he reason why I didn't mention it today is because he came back into the game afterwards. So
Right.
And it must be a precaution. Like, we don't care. You can sit out. It's fine. Take a rest.
I hope it's not a stress fracture.
Wow, that would suck. But one more comment before we get out of here, Slugs. Going back to your comment, make the NBA great again.
Oh, Lord.
And with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. That's our show for this evening. Thank you for joining us on Confirmation Bias. Remember to check us out on social media on all our handles, which is the same actually at The League AM. On our website, theleagueam.com. Check out Diplomatic Community. Submit your writings if you got some fire. And it may end up on the site. Please share on social media. Liking is cool, but sharing is caring. See y'all Thursday and let us know if your bias has been confirmed.